We're going to take a close look at Google Earth, which is the primary tool we're going to use to evaluate property. Well, the tool plus the resources and the data are all important, but this is the tool that we're going to use for a lot, and it is incredibly useful. It's free to download. I will warn you that it can take up a decent amount of CPU, so you're going to, hopefully you don't have the oldest computer. I haven't had a problem with it on any. Actually, the computer I'm recording this on is probably my slowest computer, and it still does the job. So this is it. This is the program. I'm going to explain a bunch of features in here that we're going to use. We're going to look and shuffle around at some things. Going to show you how to organize your stuff. And get the most value out of this program. So first of all, first thing that's most important is these layers down below, and you want to make sure you've got terrain clicked on, because that's how you're going to get all the three-dimensional views of the geography, which is unbelievably useful. So make sure that's on, and then you can use a variety of these layers down here. I toggle them on and off sometimes. The program can work faster if there's less layers on. Most of these layers I don't use. I don't use any of this weather, 3D buildings. Roads I use, and borders and labels. So borders and labels is what's going to show us the countries, the states and provinces and all that, and you can even go into it and subdivide it a bit more. And then places is what is you'll see when we come in. So places are like the states, and the places like places such as national forests and stuff like that. So it's not necessarily that most useful. Borders are those, and labels are the names of each city and state and all that. So those I find are quite useful. And then roads are incredibly useful. And sometimes you want to see it without them because it'll speed things up. But you want to know where the roads are, especially when you zoom in. Usually throughout the presentations when we start, we'll kind of start from this perspective, and then we'll zoom in on any particular property. But those are your layers down there. And I'll toggle some of these as necessary, but your terrain is always on. Next, let's talk a little bit about folders. So over on the left here, you've got folders, and here's all the properties that we're going to view, divided into zones and all that. And you want to use these yourself too. Whenever you create something on here, it'll automatically default to go to temporary places. And so you can just make something and then drag it into any folder you want. But one thing I would suggest doing is you might create some folders. So let's just do it in real time. So let's go add a folder, and then this will be properties to view. So these are going to be bulk properties that you might you've gone on realtor.com and you said, okay, here's one I want to look at. Let's find it by searching the address on Google and right in here at first. If you can go straight to it, perfect. You might take a pin and you might go, okay, there's a pin and the property we're looking at is here. And then you might want to say Iowa, 50 acres, 430K. That's that place. And then you might say, you might want to have another one that could be, say, properties viewed. Just go viewed. And then you might want to say, and so maybe you've got two folders there. So I can drag this out of here and put them next to each other. And so then let's say I'm going through and okay, I viewed this place, and then I might go in there. And then now in here I might say, let's go A properties. And then let's go B properties. And so those will go into viewed, and then A will go there. Oh, sorry, B will go there. Oops, gotta grab each one there. And then, okay, Iowa was an A property. Okay, move on. So that's how much you might use those folders up there.